This week we're talking about customer service, how to make sure your customers are happy, and what to do if they're not. Welcome back to the Inner China Show. This week I interviewed myself actually and talked about customer service, how to gather that customer data after the launch phase, how to keep your customers happy, what to do with potentially unhappy customers, and a lot more. So we'll get into that real quick. But before then, I wanted to mention that over on innerchina.co on the homepage, you can check out and sign up to receive our ebook on the 5 best ways to do business via China. And so I recommend you go check that out right now. Finish the video, then go check that out. But without further ado, let's do it. So the first thing that you're going to want to do if you had multiple tier levels or you were offering different product variations is to understand which customer purchased which product. And so you want to get a number of pieces of data points from them. So you want to get their name, their email address, their phone number, which is a mistake I made in my first campaign, not getting the phone numbers, which became a hassle later on when I had to ship to other countries, particularly in Southeast Asia and East Asia. So definitely get the phone number. You're going to want to know which variation of their product that they got. And then you want to know their address as well. And there's a couple of different platforms that you can use to collect this data. Kickstarter has their own. If you use Kickstarter, they have a data congregation survey that you can send out. You can create your own survey through Google Docs. And there's a couple other platforms that will do something similar as well. But you're just going to want to find a way that works best for you, that you can grab all that data so you understand exactly who bought which product and which type of your product they bought as well. So if you had different colors, you want to get a clear understanding of which color they wanted to purchase. With all your customers from the very beginning, you're going to want to communicate your timeline effectively. And what that looks like is putting it on your launch page or on your crowdfunding campaign page that, okay, here's the timeline. Here's when I raised the money through crowdfunding. Here's when I process all the inputs and gather the data through the survey. And then here's when production begins, here's when QC, here's when shipping, and here's when it arrives at your door. And you want to talk about all those phases in your timeline so that your customer has a clear expectation of when the product will arrive to them. Another thing that you're going to want to do is communicate constantly with your customers. Now, if you're doing a crowdfunding campaign, let's say through Indiegogo or Kickstarter, in the comments section and the updates section, you can be clarifying everything with your customers, especially if something is delayed. You're going to want to communicate that right away so that your customers feel engaged with the process of production and they know what's going on. Customers that are supporting a pre-launch campaign or just a pre-launch in general are aware that there is some time that it takes for the product to get to their door. They're not expecting to buy it and then 14 days later it shows up. Now, they understand delays happen, especially if this is your first product and you've communicated that clearly, but you just have to tell them when stuff happens and not try and hide it, because then that looks really shady and they think you're a scam, and that's not a good thing. So communicate very clearly and consistently and constantly with your customers. Tell your story, update them with what's going on in the process. When you're in the factory, go take pictures, take video. During my campaign, I did weekly update Wednesdays and on the Facebook page and then linked it. And so these are great ways to keep your customers engaged and excited about your product, but also being very practical about keeping them up to date with when their product will actually arrive. Kind of like I mentioned previously, you want to update your customers constantly and keep them a part of the story and engaged. I mean, the reality is customers just want to be a part of what's going on. They want to be involved. That's why they signed up for a pre-launch or a crowdfunding campaign. That kind of thing excites them. They're early adopters. Or if in the case of people that aren't early adopters, chances are they're your friends and family. And if they supported you, they really want to know what's going on because they care about you. So yeah, always have them in the loop and a part of your project and a part of your growth. Because if you think about the more and more that they're entrenched in your story, it becomes ingrained into the product that they purchased, and it has a bigger meaning and a bigger story for them. So just include them more. And if you've got difficult customers, the biggest suggestion I would say is, try and make the difficult customers happy. But if they're continuing to be difficult, then you have to know when to fire customers. Sometimes it's just worth saying, all right, listen, irreconcilable differences, here's your money back, talk to you later. And that's okay. Some customers will just be very difficult, and there's nothing you can do to change that, and you just got to let them go. It's not worth taking their money, because if they stay your customer, they'll just be more and more of a hassle later on down the road. So if you find yourself mid-production and there's a huge delay, there's quality issues and some errors in production, and it's going to cause a huge problem with the timeline and the expectation you set with the timing to get to the customer's door. The first thing you want to do is just tell the truth. Don't hide anything. Just say, this is the problem. This is how we got to that problem. But then the next thing that you want to do is offer a realistic solution. The biggest problem with updating your customers after the problem was communicated is that you might offer a solution that's a little ambitious. But if one problem happened with that factory, chances are a second problem or a third problem could happen as well. So you want to be realistic in your solution offering to your customers and say, okay, here's the problem. Here's how long I think it's going to take. And then in your mind, add about a month or two on top of that, just to be realistic with your customers. And they might get upset, but just continue to be truthful and honest with them. And the honesty will go a long way. Again, if you have difficult customers, just know when to fire them. But if a lot of customers are upset and it affects your ability to continue in production because everybody's asking for refunds, at that point you're just going to have to ask people to be patient and understanding. And that's going to be a difficult process, but you can never say sorry enough. And unfortunately, sometimes you just have to move forward and say sorry and then deliver the product well and with quality, and they'll be excited and happy to have that product when it arrives, even though it is quite late. So after you've gotten all these valuable customers on your launch phase, your pre-launch phase, whether that's crowdfunding or a pre-launch page that you had, you want to maximize the value of these customers. There's a couple ways that you can do that. You can do side sells, you can do upsells, cross sells, you can do referrals, and we'll explain all of that. But the first one I want to mention is finding champions. A percentage of your backers or your supporters or your pre-launch purchasers are going to be people that are really excited about your product. Everybody's excited, but there are some that are just like really excited. And you want to tap into those people and ask them to be a part of what you're doing. Share your story even more with them. Maybe get on a phone call with them. Send them emails more frequently. Maybe give them some free swag. Do whatever it takes to activate those people to get even more excited about your product so that they'll naturally share, because there's no greater marketing tactic than a recommendation. And that brings me to referrals. And referrals are a great way to build an email list so that you can be prepared when you launch to the public after that pre-launch phase and after you have inventory. And you can do that through some sites like Referral Candy or Kickoff Labs. I used Kickoff Labs and it was very effective. Basically what you do is you incentivize people. You say, if you send this page, email capture page to 5 people, you get this, a small prize. If you send it to 10 people, you get a bigger prize, and so on and so forth. And the software behind these websites will track all the inputs so that you don't have to worry about that. And then they'll give you the data so that you can fulfill whatever the prizes were for the amount of referrals that someone sent in. And this is a great way to build an email list fast, because this kind of referral dynamic can kind of spread out exponentially depending on how many people are coming in. You also want to think really well about how great your rewards are. So think about what your customers really appreciate and make those the rewards. And then they'll naturally want to share it because it's something that they really like and want, so that they'll try and get more referrals so they can get that award. So the next thing is also to consider cross-sells and upsells. Now an upsell is, let's say they bought a widget at $5 in the pre-launch phase, but you also sell a widget for $15, and you say, okay, you bought this, but you may also like this, and try and get them to purchase something up high at a higher price point than what they already purchased. And you can do that through offering a bundled discount or something to that effect. A cross-sell is like a related product, but just on a similar price point. So let's say you sold a $5 widget and it's complementing well with this other widget that you have that's also $5, just making people aware of that. And usually that happens at the point of checkout. And these are great ways to have people purchase more of your products, and they're already excited about it. They're already ready to click buy. And now you just ask them, hey, do you want this as well? You might also like this. And so that's a really great way to maximize the value of your customers in the long run and during that pre-launch phase.